Whoop whoop. Okay, we're back. So I got a little while before the kids come home from school, and I want to get some work done. So I figure I might as well start this thing up again since it's only a button press. I'm gonna reduce the level of the music because it seemed to be just really loud. Um, I gotta remember how to do that. Okay, let's try that. Hold on. Okay, let's see. That should work. The only thing with that is it's now low volume in my earphones. I can turn it up over there. Yeah, because I want some background noise on the stream. I don't want it to be a music stream. I want it to be a development stream with a little bit of background noise. Um. Anyway, okay, that seems good enough. Okay, let's get to work. All right. So yesterday, what we achieved was combining the title analysis with the domain lookups. So now we have to basically mangle these both together into a set of tags. And that shouldn't be too hard. It should be pretty easy. We're going to see what we can do. Okay, so where were we? Problem with sleeping is you go to sleep and then you dream and then you wind up in a different place for 8 hours and you're living an entirely different life as a different person. Then you come back to reality in the morning when you wake up and you try to remember your previous life where you were writing code and then all of a sudden your brain's a little fuzzy. So I'm trying to put this all back into my head for the 11 millionth time as I do this every single day. Um, so that I can continue on. It never gets easier. It's always a pain in the butt. Go off the dream world, live a different life, come back. And all of a sudden you're trying to remember where the hell you were and what the hell you're doing. Okay. So, generate tag set. So I spoke last night about the need to excuse me, to pull domains from the database in order to generate a tag set. So I think I'm gonna do that here. So load all potential domain types. Hmm. I said I wanted to pull from the database, but I I don't know if that's wise. Because the database currently, let's take a look. Let's bring up the database. And hold on, let's see, domains. That shouldn't be too bad. Because right now the database has 5,944 entries in it. And this will likely grow, but will it grow to millions? If it grows to millions, then we're going to have a problem. But for the sake of tag generation, I don't think it ever will grow probably more than 25,000. I'm not trying to catalog every single website on the internet nor spider or crawl everything. But even then, processing 25,000 records just to get hmm just to get potential categories. Or I could just write a method to do it once and then optionally give a command line flag to regenerate it again, but for the meantime I use a static value that is hard-coded after generating it one time. So I can generate it or use the static. I think that's the play. That's the play. Okay, let's go. Okay. If you guys never used the tool Barrier before, it's a Linux mouse sharing program. Ah, it's wonderful. I've been using it for God knows how long. Back in the early 2000s, we used to use a program called X to VNC in order to do mouse sharing between devices. And it worked, but it wasn't secure or encrypted or anything like that. But Barrier is a similar product, and its entire purpose is mouse sharing between devices, and it supports SSL, or I guess TLS encryption. Transport layer security encryption. Okay, lookup keyword set by name. So should I have it within the title analyzer database? Sorry, my brain's still waking up. It's gonna be in a different file. Where's that file? Oh, not there. Let's see, over here. Yeah, it'll be in here. Okay. URL and title analyzer, article tag generator. That's not what we need. Oh, that's not what we need either. It's gonna be in lookup domains. So URL analyzer. We'll rename that after, but or we'll redefine that after. But for now, I'm just trying to get it out into the IDE. Generate potential category list. Alright. Database and generate potential category list. Not potential, it'll be category list. Let's get this out here. So we're returning an object. Domain category list. Yeah, while I write code, I usually start off just dumping it out of my head as soon as humanly possible, because I'm an how do I explain it? Like, I'm organic. So I'm gonna have trouble memorizing and remembering every little thought that comes into my head, especially when they're happening so quickly and I'm juggling all sorts of thoughts about all sorts of things. So if you can just dump it out of your head immediately, even if it doesn't sound perfect, you can iterate on it. Iterate. You just improve it. It's easy to improve something that exists. It's hard to improve something that doesn't. So make it exist. If you can make something exist, make it exist. Okay, list category. So what I'm gonna have to do, go down here. So I have look up domains. Instead of using lookup domains, maybe I can use lookup domains. Yeah, I'll just use lookup domains. Domain categories. Yeah, this should be fine. I'm just gonna look up the domains with an empty set, and that should give me the ability to dump everything. So we'll go look up domains, and we'll go over here, and we'll take this. Hold on. The reason we pass in the database and the database name is it's kind of vestigial, but not really. A lot of the times, I want my code to have the same smell, have the same look, and a lot of methods in the past have needed both the database and the database name. So I usually just pass them in together. So just at a quick glance, I can identify that this function does this particular thing, even if it doesn't need the parameter. Um, it's kind of like a future proofing thing too. So in case I do need the database name, it's always available in my methods. I don't set it in the class specifically because of the fact that in the past I've experienced situations where it's it's better to pass the database object and then let the code work with that database object so that you don't have to keep recreating objects. Like if I had to make a new class every time I wanted to do a database operation, well, not good. Not good, because you wind up with several duplicates of a class instead of just one class that can filter everything. I'm not sure what the software pattern is called for that because I don't really subscribe to a lot of software patterns. Um, but I've experienced and felt that pattern directly, whatever it is. Okay, domains. So domains are going to just be empty. Let me double check. No, this won't work. I'm gonna have to use the handle directly. The reason that won't work is because I would have to remove this match here. This is like a SQL select query. And if I provide an empty domains array, I think the in here, which is kind of like a search for, how do I explain it? This is fun. Live streaming is fun. You've got to think on the fly of what terminology you want to use. This is something I don't have to usually do. I can just keep the abstract idea and notion in my head without having to ever utilize the correct wording for things. It's more like when you're doing it on your own, it's not like official, I guess. it's more like just a talent, like something you've worked on over the years and you can do the thing, but you don't ever have to explain it. You just say, look, it works. It's amazing. This is fantastic. This is a great thing. Everybody goes, wow, that's a cool thing. But you don't ever have to say, oh, well, this is this pattern and this is that thing. And it's just, it works. That's actually good. It'll spur me to actually look into what the hell this pattern would actually be. Okay, so let's just scrap all of that. Okay. So we're not going to need domains. We are going to need... We're not going to need found CB. So found CB. We're going to need... an object to store things, so let's categorize this. Should I make it an array? Yeah, why not? Let's push if not exists is a custom method that I have overridden into the array object. That'll just do what it says. Push if not exists. So if it doesn't exist, it'll just push it into the stack. And what we're doing here is we're iterating through... let's do that. We're iterating through the potential category keys within the record. And we're just pushing them into the categories list. So every single potential category should get dumped into here now. And then we'll return the categories list. So simple enough. We're going to search through the domains. Let's remove the match. Let's make it an empty match so it'll pull every single thing. Hold on, I wonder if MongoDB has a distinct field on key. Oh, let's ask the internet. Find distinct values. I don't think it has distinct keys. That might be an oopsie in my design. It's probably better to use distinct keys, because then I could just use the database to search for these. But you know what? In the future, I'm not gonna really need to. I'm not gonna really need to ever be doing this. This is like a one and done kind of thing. So I'm not gonna need the domain. I'm not gonna need the domain SHA1. The reason I'm using SHA1 instead of SHA256 or 512, in case you're wondering, just speed. I don't need the extra bits of those things because this is not a security application. I'm just using TSHA1 for an exclusionary unique key like the chances of collision are extremely low, and I would not want to do the same operation 256 times or 512 times just for a little bit of speed up. I mean, sorry, just for a little bit of added entropy. It doesn't make any sense to do that. Okay, not cursor, return. Let's return an empty set. If there's no cursor, actually, let's use the object itself. Well, we don't have to declare two objects, and we can just one line this. All right, this looks good. So this will iterate through all. Iterate data domain. Let's go iterate domain records and generate category list. Let's say generate full category list, but that is good enough. Oh, how is this song? It's kind of amazing. I've never listened to any of these before. I mean, except for the ones that actually played when I was a kid, of course. I figure old MIDIs are pretty much the way to have music without suffering the copyright system. And I encode them myself, so hopefully that's good enough. I don't want the content ID to hammer me. Okay. This will iterate through all domain records and generate the through all list all available This is primarily used for tag perfect. Well, reasonably good. It's that brag. Let's say perfect. Okay, look up keyword set. So it would be articles. So the tag generator. Alright, we want to be able to skip any potential empty values. So tag generator. Well, actually, let's we're not going to keep this here in the future. We're just gonna put it here for testing at the moment. That's probably better just to do this. Okay. It's hard to blast on this and still talk. That's something I'm gonna have to learn how to do. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so ooh, that's not good. Iterate domain records and not a function. Yeah, it is. What did I do wrong? Let's look. URL Analyzer DB. Iterate domain records and generate category list. Yeah. Should be fine. Article tag genref, yeah. URL Analyzer DB. Oh. Ha! Rip. Oh, IDX line 83. I guess I didn't update that. Yeah. Figured. I miss one of those occasionally. Gonna confirm. Okay, let's 78. So, record categories. So it shouldn't be null. You know what? I think I know what's wrong. I remember last night I inserted a record into the database that might have been incorrect. So, hold on. In MongoDB, it's really easy to do this. So we'll go over here and we'll go ID -1. Boom. Yeah. See, in here this would cause a big problem. So we're gonna delete this. That was the keyword tag set from last night. That does not belong in there. I just forgot to remove it. Alright, this might still have a problem because it's possible for the categories to be empty. I actually want it to error if possible. Because it'll let me know if I have... no, it didn't error. Okay, so all the domains is games, is finance, is Linux, is questions and answers. All of these correspond to all of the domains currently in the database. So the tags would be basically just strip out is from the front and be like games, finance, questions and answers, AI, podcast, tech product, educational. All right. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Great. So okay, so now I'm gonna do some error checking just to make sure. This will just skip any records that don't have categories. Now, this should never ever occur in this code. Is more or less pointless, this check here, but it's just I'm I'm neurotic about this because in the past I've omitted checks like this and it's caused problems. Like to say, I mean the bigger problem is that I insert data into the database that is corrupted. Like it would be better to be able to see that, but I can go back and I can check that later. I'd rather have at runtime this thing to just work. Okay, I'm sure we have. Again, we're using optional chaining. I explained that last night. You can just go look up optional chaining if you wanna know what the question mark dot is. All right. So return the categories list. Look up. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go back to that tag generator. Okay, do I have... Hold on, I want to look at something. I'm looking at my array prototypes. I have a feeling I have a... I have a method that automatically allows replacing on each element in an array, or a string array at least. It appears I don't. Okay, so let's go ahead and create one, because this could be useful. So we'll just copy this, and we'll create a replacer. Iterate string array and replace on each. So type of this iterate string values equals swear. There's a lot of times when you're writing code that you feel, I definitely wrote this function before, and there's like a nagging in your head that tells you you're reinventing the wheel. At some point, you're gonna discover that you did already write this thing, but there's a trade-off. So the trade-off is the amount of time it takes to go look through however many hundreds of thousands of lines of code that you've written in order to find the duplicate versus the time that it actually takes to just rewrite it. Now in this case, I know for a fact I haven't added this as in an array prototype, but I have probably added it as a method to another class. This is really fundamental stuff. So now I know it's always going to be here for the array prototype. And I don't have to go digging through everything. Okay, usually with these prototypes I'm less verbose because they're very, very simple. Like this one is filled with random integers. It'll just fill an array with random integers. These are useful for things like fuzzing. Like I have other ones, like, you know, get last is easy, get first is easy. Get random elements, it just pulls random from an array. I have a set of these for objects as well. They're really primitive, and that's why they're useful, because primitive stuff is extrapolatable to more complicated designs. Is that the right word? Yeah, who gives a crap? Keep going. Iterate domains and records. Okay, so now I should be able to category sets, iterate string values. Let's replace is with nothing. So this should strip out the is. Yep, and there we go. But we shouldn't do that. There's a bug in this. The bug is that it could replace is from anywhere. So we're going to do this. And change it into a regular expression and match from the beginning of the string only. Okay, still works, but if is in the middle here, it won't get removed as well. Not that there was an instance of that, but it's just good to have in case we had potential tags in the future. Okay. Now the question is right now, this method is operating on the array itself, so it's actually stripping out the array. In order to keep things separate with the original values and the modified values, it might be useful to just create a whole new array and return that instead of iterate string values and replace on each. Because I can have a flag. Let's do options. Replace this with this. Okay. How's that for a verbose parameter? Okay, so now this is more verbose, which isn't great. I mean, it is kind of great. I kind of like it. So it'll replace this. Again, in the future when I look at this code, it'll just be patently obvious exactly what's happening. Don't have to spend extra brain power trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Let potential category tags equal copied array. This will be the return copy. If let's go modify self instead. Modify self is going to be false. Replace this with this, modify self, false. we need to use the triple equals here. I don't know if you know about JavaScript truthiness, but you always want to use the triple equals because a million things could be true. Like I have an isEmpty function, but I don't have an isTrue function. Because you can use just the triple equals and that'll work out for you almost every single time. Else copied array dot push. Okay, so if we're modifying ourselves, we can just return ourselves, and if we're not, we return the copied array. Oh, turn based on flag. There you go. Spelled that wrong. Copited. Copited array. So this should work now. Modify self is false. So we actually don't even need to have the modify flag. We can just do that. Because it'll check if it's true. If it just doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. This is another benefit of using the params instead of actually having parameters themselves. Because by doing this, we can just not have modify set or self set. Now you could have it like this and have a default value, but then it just starts looking really ugly, and better to just have an undefined check. This will just try to pull it out of parameters, and it'll be undefined. Okay. Okay, iterate domains and generate category lists. So now we should be able to dump out both of these. One will still have the is, and the other one, no, don't want that. And the other one will have the substitutions. Or it's not substitutions, but the removals. Okay, yep. So we created a copy without the is, and then we have the original ones with the is. Alright, I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright, now where were we? The kids should be here shortly. So I'm gonna have to stop the stream at some point, but I'll be starting it back up later after they're done with their homework and fed and they've had time to play outside and that kind of stuff. Okay, iterate string values and replace on each. We know that works. This song sounds like a woodpecker. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this song. Oh yeah, now we jam. Oh, this song is okay. Yeah, this is from Super Mario RPG. I'll skip that. That's if you defeat the Final Fantasy boss. I was like, why is that Super Mario? It's because in Super Mario RPG there's a optional boss where if you defeat him, uh, well, it's a Final Fantasy boss inside of Super Mario RPG, which is an optional boss, and then I don't want to talk about it. Okay, all potential tags. Now this is gonna have to be an object, so we'll go ahead and create this. So go over here. All potential tags. Category set. Hold on. Do I need a wait? No, I'm just gonna do this. Now the category set and the potential category tags, because one is derivative of the other, are gonna have the same indexes. So we'll be able to index into both of them without having to worry about anything. So all potential tags iter equals. So this should create an object for every single potential tag. So let's try this. Bada boom. Yep, it did. Now some of these I'm going to want to replace. So like space and astronomy, I'm not going to want to be space and astronomy. I'm going to want it to just be space. Like for programming, I'll just probably want it to be code. Community organizations, I just want it to be org. Questions and answers, I want it to be Q&A. Software code. Oh, yeah, for software code, I'll probably want it to be code repo. Or maybe I'll just have it code itself. Okay, so I'm going to take these. Switch. Eh. Default will just be return. So I'm going to be using a switch case here in order to filter out those that need filtering. Oh, default won't be returned. Default will just be the value itself. So these are all fine. Anyone that's a one word or something short is fine. Oh, tech product. Educational. Let's get rid of this. Keep that. Get rid of these. These are all fine. Those are long, so we're not going to use those. I don't know if there's a hotkey to automatically caseify things. And I usually do it by hand because I don't do it particularly often. Okay, so tag equals... So the default is just to keep the tag. The song is not the jam, I'm going to change it. Oh, well, it's over anyway. Oh, they sound like boss music. Boss music is the best at code, too. Fighting the big boss. Oops. List. Mailing list. Okay, now let's take a look and see what the tags look like. What? Oh, forgot to use this instead. Sound like Batman music. Oh, it is Batman music. Okay, cool. Alright, there we go. So the tags look significantly better. Potential tags equals true. So this will just create the object within the tag set if it's already empty. If it's not empty, we're gonna be just assigning. So we go down here and we go tag. Oh, actually we should. Domain categories. It's gonna be this. Well, that was perfectly valid code. I like to wrap it if I have things like this because it makes the code more visually um, obvious. And also, I'm a firm believer in parentheses on the new line. And the reason for that is visual clarity. Like, if you're looking at the code, just look at it immediately. Okay, open bracket, close bracket. That's great. It's easy to see, easy to know. It does add a little bit of bloat to the code, but I don't care. As opposed to this, well, in order to match these, you have to look on both lines. Like you have to kind of outward cross eye. I guess obtuse eye, whatever that means. So this just you immediately know. Okay, bang bang these together. Okay, add to domain. Oh, let's see if this works. Google domain categories. All right, it's not gonna be that. It's going to be category set. IDX. Because I want it to have the is marker. See, there we go. Domain categories. Is Google true? Is email true? So now I have to do the same thing, but with the title analyzer. And that shouldn't be too hard. So load keyword set by name. That was left over from last night. I had to do that. Okay, so I'm thinking right now. I'm shuffling these together in my head. What that means is, okay, so I have keyword sets which are loaded, and now I have domain sets loaded over here. I have to shuffle the keyword sets and the domain tag sets together, and that should give me the capability I need. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so keyword sets look like this. So tech protocols, network, and web. I need to have these corresponding to these. Okay, that shouldn't be too hard. Comment's a bit redundant, but we'll go with it. Okay. So we'll take all of this code and we will move it into its own function. That way we can preload everything. Up and down and up and down. Get crazy with it. This domain tag sets. What's the reference? Again, don't use this. This is the double. Always rename this. I mean, in this case, it wouldn't have done anything. This wouldn't have harmed a bit, but it's just much more useful to have a reference to your object. Okay, all potential tags. So set. So this should work. Okay, I think the monkeys are home now. I think it's time to go do homework with them. I'll return to this after. Probably in 5 or 6 hours. I gotta do homework and take them outside, go run around and play and stuff. So it's gonna take a little while. I gotta cook dinner after and play FOD, but I'll be back. Okay, off.